sure love playing video games, and do you know what's better than video games? Video games old enough to drive, and the best way to play video games is on real hardware, just like Miyamoto intended. Thankfully, I got this handy dandy Nintendo 64 which I can use to play all my favorite Nintendo 64 games, and oh boy, I really feel like playing some Pokémons now. So let me just put the cartridge in, put the console into my old plasma TV, yeah, I don't have CRT, and finally I can have an authentic experience. Oh, crud. I guess my game isn't working. You know what? That's to be expected, so I'll just play something else. How about Star Fox 64? The cartridge has seen better days, but hey, it still works and the game is great. I'm having so much fun. Man, there's something about these almost 30-year-old games that makes them so appealing to go back to, even if I wasn't alive when they released. The N64 is so cool. I'm gonna try a different game. I've heard some really good things about this game called Banjo-Kazooie, so let's go buy it. I suppose I won't play it. This is what game companies expect you to do. Let's cut to the chase. Emulation is freaking sick, and you should use it. This is not a video of me talking about the legal implications of it. This is not about the authenticity or the preservation of art. There are much more smarter fellas out there who can talk about it, and you should listen to them. But what I'm here to tell you is why you, watching this, should emulate all the video games. And yes, with this, I'm not talking getting your own cartridge dumper, or getting your ROMs from the Wii U store, rest in peace, and transfer them to your computer. We're all adults here. I'm talking ROM sharing, I'm talking illegal downloading, I'm talking Internet Archive, yes, you heard me, straight up piracy. First of all, it's convenient. I own Star Fox 64, it's right here, can't you tell? And while I can play it on my Nintendo 64, I don't really want to do that. Why? Because it's a hassle. Yes, I get a more authentic experience with the original controller and hardware, which is great, but look at my room, look at my desk. Do you think I've got a space to plug in all this crap? No, so this means that every time I want to play a Nintendo 64 game, I need to get off my ass, grab the console, grab the controller and game, plug in the power, the composite cables, try to find a safe space where the console won't fall from my desk, and then I can start playing. Versus... And I know I'm not the only one with a small room with not enough space to plug in all my devices. Or maybe I am. Just think about this. Why would I want to bust out a Nintendo GameCube that I need to play in an older TV, find the memory card, space to plug it in, and who knows what else, if I can just open Dolphin Emulator? That's another thing. These old consoles tend to need some sort of add-on to work sometimes, like memory cards or the N64 needing the expansion pack to play DK64 or Majora's Mask. What if I do own those games, but I don't have the expansion pack? They don't exactly sell these at pharmacies. Same with the controller. What happens if it breaks? Or the power cable? Or the video cable? If any of these essential components breaks, I'm screwed because these old systems are not supported anymore. And I either have to look for some aftermarket alternative that is not gonna meet the same quality standard anyway, or try to get a new one. So if your experience is gonna be compromised anyway, just emulate. Emulation is also the only way you can experience a lot of important games or get into certain franchises. For example, I love the Nier games and I want to play the prequel Drakengard, so what am I supposed to do if the consoles I have can't play it? Even if I did have a PS2, look at these prices! I'm sorry, I should have been buying this game in September 2003 instead of being busy inside of my mother's womb. I'm not going to spend all that money on playing a 21-year-old game. So if I want to play Drakengard, I'll just emulate. Even if you have the old consoles and games, nothing guarantees that this won't happen. The best and easiest way to preserve and have all your favorite games available to play is right here. Or even here. Because discs get scratches, cartridges die, and once they're gone, let's be real. I adore retro game collecting, and I treasure what I have even if my collection isn't very impressive. But a lot of die-hard game collections won't even play their own physical copies. Why? Because even if you want to play an original hardware and have an authentic experience, server drives exist and play the games equally as good without harming the experience. So I will ask you, unless you want to collect games, which is a fun thing to do, why would you spend thousands of dollars and hours of your time looking for old cartridges that may not even work when you can just get an EverDrive or just download the ROM? Just do it, nobody with a brain cares. And now that you're at it, why not play your games at a higher resolution? Maybe with a more comfortable controller? And I don't know, perhaps better frame rate? Yeah, almost as if you should just emulate. Early 3D games also have this nasty habit of running like garbage. Ocarina of Time struggles to stay at 20 FPS, Snake Eater on PS2 was so ahead of its time that it was ahead of its own console. Perfect Dark, Super Castlevania 4, Banjo-Tooie, Super Ghouls and Ghosts, these are all great games, but they just couldn't get them to run properly. Have you tried playing the original Shadow of the Colossus? And that game got a full-on remake on the PS4, so at least you have that option. However, most of these games are stuck chugging in their original hardware, and the people who make emulators know this. So if you want to play an older game like Demon's Souls, which was stuck at 30 FPS in the PS3, chances are somebody made a patch specifically for that game to make it run at a buttery smooth 60 FPS. And there are some games that are just uncomfortable to play in their original presentation. Kid Icarus Uprising is a phenomenal game by Masahiro Sakurai, creator of the Kirby and Smash Bros. Series. This game is so good, it has a great story, memorable characters, snappy writing, and fantastic music. It is also my favorite way to speedrun Carpal Tunnel. You're supposed to grab your whole 3DS with your left hand and use the circle pad to control movement, while you use the left bumper to shoot, and then you use the stylus with your right hand to control the aiming. And when the game released, Nintendo even offered this stand for the console to give a less uncomfortable way to play it. But when I played this game, I wasn't feeling like getting reconstructive surgery on my hands, so I ran the game on Citra, and not only did it look better, but thanks to a drawing tablet and my Switch Pro controller, I was able to play the game just fine for the most part. On a similar note, Metroid Prime. This game was insane for its time, and it has aged like fine wine. And it runs great in original hardware at a rock-solid 60 FPS, and overall it's still a phenomenal game. But being a first-person game released in 2002, it controls really different from modern first-person games, using a combination of lock-in and tank controls to move Samus around, and while personally it didn't affect my enjoyment of the original game, it can definitely feel like it slows down the pace, and it can be awkward to go back to if you're used to modern games, which is why every re-release of the game and its sequel heavily altered the controls to make them more intuitive. The Wii controls are fun, but personally I think the remaster strikes the best balance. But way before that we had Prime Hack, a fork of the Dolphin emulator made specifically for the Prime games that took the game and added mouse and keyboard controls, letting you play like a modern FPS with some super responsive aiming and movement. I know a lot of people who consider this the definitive way to play these games. And in the same spirit of altering a game to make it better, ROM hacking. What if you had your game, but more? Yes, quality will be wildly inconsistent, and depending on the game it may not even have ROM hacks, like who's making a ROM hack out of Turok? Not me. But usually Nintendo games have a lot of ROM hacks. Super Mario Star Road, Zelda Indigo, Super Mario Sunburn, Super Mario Last Impact, Super Mario 64 Land, Super Mario Sapphire. I'm noticing a pattern here. There are some ROM hacks dedicated to just add quality of life improvements, making a dated game easier to get into, like widescreen patches, new language options, or this one that makes Sonic Genesis on the GBA less bad. Or what I consider to be the greatest improvement made to a game via emulation, The Legend of Zelda Remastered. I mean, just look at this. Everything from the sprites to the music has been revamped to look like an honest-to-God remake. By far, the definitive way to play The Legend of Zelda. But at this point, you may be playing a different game. A better game. You may cry about authenticity, but look, unless you're a retro purist, you want to have the best experience possible. So yes, it will be different, but 9 times out of 10, if you want a better experience playing retro games, just emulate.